if you want to reduce your stress, your anxiety, and you want to be more motivated and kind of find a little bit more like a meaning in chaos and things are uncertain, maybe a lot of things are out of your control, but it's so hard to not get sucked into that. There's one thing, if you do that, that actually can help all of that. And that is having a real good clarity about your purpose. And in this episode, we're going to talk about briefly on how to gain a little bit more clarity about your purpose, but also particularly, and that's, I think, is super important, on how to stay on purpose. How do we, because oftentimes we kind of forget and then we get sucked into the chaos and uncertainty and all that. But there's strategies that you can implement to stay on purpose. Even also, if you're not 100% clear about your purpose, there's things that you can do to kind of calm everything down. So welcome, I'm Heike Fallon, and I'm a personal high performance coach. And I help my clients with their health and their personal performance and utilize a brain-based approach with that.
Good morning. Hi, I'm Shannon Passalacqua, and I am a coach, and I help women heal through miscarriages. And I think a lot of that comes from finding some purpose.
Absolutely. So let's first start. Let me start just very quick, little sciencey part. Because I think people forget it's totally normal that we feel a little anxious and stressed and sucked into the chaos, because our brain has to keep us alive. It does not like uncertainty. It likes to know, it likes to predict in order to keep us safe. So in order to predict, it likes to have good information. And oftentimes when things are thrown at us and there's a lot of variables and things are uncertain, the brain does not like that at all. And it has a hard time predicting, and it may get mismatched information. And that gives us that feeling of anxiety or stress, maybe also demotivated, also
Overwhelm.
more overwhelmed, more cortisol release, which is if it's too much cortisol release, again, creates that stress response. So it's very important to understand it's a normal process. There's nothing that's just how the brain functions. The key is that by defining and have more clarity about your purpose, you're actually creating a better, if you align your behaviors and your thoughts with your purpose, you can actually predict better and focus better. And it helps you to also stay more motivated. And that's all processes that are happening in the brain. So that's just kind of like a little overview, not going too deep into that. But it's important to understand that it's a normal process, but we can do and implement strategies. And by knowing the purpose, it can be tremendously helpful. So what is purpose?
What is purpose? I think purpose is different for everyone, but I think it's finding something that is important to you, that aligns with your values, and having something that motivates you to show up and to show up as your best self. I think understanding what your values are will help guide you to find your purpose. And I do want to say, there is a lot of overwhelm right now. I don't want to sugarcoat that. I don't want to say, hey, this is going to take all your stress away. I think when you know your purpose and you're in touch with it, it gives you something to tap into, so that when you are feeling stressed or worried or overwhelmed or defeated, this will help you just be more in touch with how to move forward.
It functions as a self-regulation.
Right. And I have to do this a lot. I've had a really hard time doing it, but I'm back in school to become a therapist, and I have to constantly remind myself the reason why I'm doing this is to be able to help people later on. And it's sometimes it seems like a real struggle to focus on my schoolwork, and to pull myself out of the worries. But when I have that thing it's like a touchstone.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I have that to go back to and say, this is why I'm doing it, you need to focus.
And it's, I would say too, is it's besides that being like an overreaching goal, you know, it is also can be very ambitious, which is fine because we may not be perfect in alignment with it, but that's the whole point, that, like you said, to be your best self, right? We're not always our best self, but
Right.
in general, having that goal, and knowing that that goal and the ambition is something we're thriving for helps us also to kind of stay on track.
Well, and it also helps you show up better for your family and for yourself and for your community. And that's what we need at this point of our lives. Like, we need to be able to show up for those around us. We need to be able to be good human beings for our community.
Yeah, and social
And
connection is so important for your own health, your own well-being, but you can also contribute so much to others. So knowing what your purpose is and staying in alignment with that, it brings that social connection as well. Because
right.
usually humans do want to give. They do,
Yeah.
because it's actually a fundamental need that we have. And when you are feeling more in alignment with your purpose and your behavior lines up, you're also having more energy, and you have more energy to give. And then you might be going out helping more, being part of a community, and strengthen your social connections. So very, very important.
Yeah. I think community is probably one of the best ways to stay in touch with your purpose. I think surrounding yourself with people who know what your purpose is and can even call you out when you're maybe going one way, going an opposite direction, and say, hey, that's, you need, go back to what you love. I think surrounding yourself with people who are going to keep you focused and keep you centered is really important. And so finding those people is one of the key aspects. And maybe it's, you and I do this. Maybe it's a partner. Your partner is helping you stay on purpose. Maybe it's a neighbor. Whatever it is, maybe you go out and volunteer, and the people there help you stay on track.
And let me throw this in too. It's not like purpose just falls off the sky and you just know
Right.
it like that.
Oh, hey, I know what it is.
I had not even thought about my purpose until like I became a high performance coach years ago. I had goals, but I wasn't really as clear. I had never defined a purpose statement. I had never really consciously thought about that. And I still think I lived in alignment because we can feel when we're living in alignment with our behaviors and when we're not. And some people are more sensitive than others, but it was very, very interesting to sit down and trying to identify that. And
Yeah.
I have no idea how many times I tweaked it and worked on it and changed it. And because we can also have, an overreaching purpose as a being, but we can also have what you may call then mission for different areas of your life. That you can have a purpose for that, or like again, some people define it more as a mission, right, in different areas. Oftentimes those two are used interchangeable. But the key is that it may also need to evolve, right? You might have to
Yes.
really do a little self-audit, do a self-reflection, kind of ask yourself questions like what energizes you, what do you want to bring to society, what makes you happy. Those are kind of questions to answer for yourself. And then, like you mentioned, I think super important, know your values. There's lots and lots of value assessments online that you can literally download and do. But knowing your values is a very key component of gaining more clarity on your purpose. And then it's okay that it will evolve. It might take a little time to
Right. And it
define it.
changes. It can change
It can change.
during your lifetime, because things change during
Yeah.
at this moment, mine might be, my purpose is, has something to do with my family. And maybe that'll change when my kids are out of the house, or, it it's going to evolve. It's going to change. I think it's important, like you said, it's like reevaluate it, reevaluate it yearly, monthly, whatever works best for you, but reevaluate it and say, okay, is that still where I'm at?
Yep.
What is important to me? What are my values? Sometimes your values change. And then tweak it, move
Yeah.
forward, like work on it. And it is, I never thought about my purpose in life until I became a coach. I thought, well, I'm just, I have a job, I'm a teacher, and that's who I am, and da 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 da. And it wasn't like, well, here's my purpose. I was in touch with what I thought was important, but I wasn't like, what what am I here for? And once I started working on that, I thought it's just very helpful to keep you grounded and to keep
Well,
you
I think
going during really hard times.
keeping grounded is one, but I'm gonna also share really quick that for me, I struggled so long with my health, where my whole purpose was just trying to survive the next day. And I had completely lost focus on any bigger purpose,
Yeah.
anything bigger or more wider than
Yeah.
just figuring out how to get through the day due to chronic pain. And I have to say, I've tried everything, applied a ton of stuff, and it wasn't until I actually worked on my purpose, which gave me again such a level of motivation to do more, to shift my thoughts away from this, how do I survive the pain tomorrow, to there's more in life than this.
Yeah.
And in my case, 100%, it helped me overcome chronic pain. Now, all the stuff that I did besides obviously were important too. So it's not just the purpose. We'll fix but it was a key component in my case to shift out of this trying to survive the next day into something more meaningful, more giving. And then the more I explored that, the more I behaved and thought about other things, it gave me actually more motivation. It gave me more energy, more strength, which essentially helped me in my healing process
Yeah.
because of just I was just really in like
Yeah.
kind of like a tunnel vision.
It's well, because it's something that's out, it's outside of yourself, right? It's something bigger than just you.
Yes.
And I think when we focus on something that's just bigger than just us
Yeah.
or just me, that's when we see the power. And that's, you and I had similar health issues. Um, and I didn't find my purpose until I had my miscarriages, and I needed to find something bigger than myself
Yep.
in that moment. Something that was going to help me heal, something that was going to be not just about just me healing, but like doing something more for other people.
Yeah.
Because it
100%.
couldn't be just about me and my pain.
Yes. 100%. And I do believe, and that's what I work with my clients as well, is the ones that do have some chronic pain issues or other struggles would define their purpose. And they gain clarity about it in the sessions, and then it gives them a whole nother level moving up into the direction that they want to be with their life. So how can we remind ourselves?
Well, that's a struggle.
Well,
Um,
I think one thing that helped me was definitely clearly setting an intention in the morning. I started actually implementing a morning routine, and we've done another video about that, but morning routine where I set specific intentions, reminding myself of my purpose and already thinking ahead, what behavior or what could I do today that fits into my purpose to really bring that in alignment with what I do, my actions. So I did that in the morning. I still do part of my morning routine. And I think doing that on a daily basis can be really powerful to remind ourselves.
I agree. And, I think we've had so many of these conversations. I go back and forth with it. I fall off the wagon a lot. And when I when I do it, I feel better. And I know I'll feel better, but sometimes I don't do it. So it's,
Well, that's why I ended up creating a planner
yeah, yeah.
myself
I don't like,
because I needed some guidance. So it's actually on Amazon. People can buy it, but I created it because I wanted it for me. Not
yeah,
I mean, now I'm sharing it with others, but it was my way of making sure I do my morning routine, and I do make sure that I put down, how do I want to show up today? What's my
yeah.
intention? And also I think the other part is um besides, like, during the day, paying attention, right? Kind of seeing
Mhm.
if my actions line up, or the decisions I make, are they actually lining up with my values and my purpose? Is that relevant? I love that somebody taught me that question long ago. Is this relevant for moving
Mm.
forward, what I want to move forward, right? Is this helping that, or is this kind of, you know, uh, not really helping, or not helping the purpose? I think, like, in the decision making that we do throughout the day. And
Mhm.
then part of my planner as well is in the evening, an evening reflection on, what did I do that, lined up? What did I do great today, and what could I have done better? And do a little self-reflection. And that's the one I fall off sometimes, the evening one.
I think that's good. I think it's also noticing noticing your thoughts, right? So, oh, what's that called? I can't remember. But being cognizant of what your thoughts are, because like I said, in the morning, I very easily could turn to my planner that is next to my bed and pick it up and do that. And I don't. And through the day, there are choices that I make. And I think there are so many ways you can use this in your life right now, but noticing your thoughts and asking yourself, like, is that thought true? What is the evidence for that thought? And sometimes it helps to write it out. Sometimes, to notice your thoughts and say, okay, what is what are the what's the proof of that thought? And challenge, like, okay, if that thought is not true, then I need to change that thought. And
100.
that could be helpful when you're working with your values, when you're telling yourself, I don't need to do that. Or anything that's going on in the world right now. Like, we can very easily go into doom and gloom very easily, very quickly. And I want us to all challenge ourselves that to question your thoughts and notice them. Just notice them. It's mindfulness. Just notice them and ask yourself if that thought is true.
And is
And
it serving you at the moment?
right, right. Is it serving you? Is it true? And okay, let's change that. And what can I do next? From
Yeah,
from this moment of I'm noticing my thought. What's my next best step? What do I
absolutely.
do now?
Yeah. And I think this conversation already hopefully highlighted for people watching, it's, you got to find your way. Like, the morning works great for me to sit there. The evening I slack off. During the day I'm pretty good too. For you, the morning was a challenge. The midday thing, or during the day, seems more the thing. So find what works for you. There isn't, like, everybody has to do the
Right.
same. You got to find what works for you, but the key is to be consistent with whatever you choose. And there is no one size fits all with anything ever. And because our brains are all different, we all trigger
Mhm.
differently, and predict differently, and feel differently, have different history. And therefore, you need to figure out and have the courage to just try out
Well,
what works.
I think it's important to know your purpose isn't going to be the same purpose as your friends. Your purpose isn't going to be the same purpose as whoever your influencer is on social media. Your purpose is your purpose. So don't try to fit it into some sort of mold. It is for you. It is for to keep you going. It is not for someone else. So your purpose may seem different than other people's. And I'm just saying that because I think a lot of people go, well, it needs to be this huge life changing, system changing, whatever. It doesn't have to be. If it's something that that resonates with you, that's what's important. And so don't deny what your purpose is because you don't think it's the right purpose.
Because at the end of the day, as I said in the beginning, it's all about managing your stress level, managing your anxiety level, managing how you feel and how you self-regulate. Nobody else can tell you how to do that. You have to figure it out by doing and by working on it, more gaining more clarity, defining more. I mean, that's what we do as coaches. We help our clients to go through that process because oftentimes no, always, because we had our own our own coaches as well, because having an outside perspective, somebody asking a different question that we may not think about helps us to really move forward faster. So our information is below if you want to reach out to one of us, but it is really a one key component that affects so many different areas in our life. And once you gain more clarity about your purpose, you work on it and you define it more and more as you go as well. It truly has an impact on your health, your well-being, on your social connection. Again, in my case, hugely got me out of chronic pain, a big part of it. And so, yeah, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. We'd love to hear from you. But as always, love chatting with you, Shannon, because it's so insightful just to get different perspectives. So,
yeah. All right. Well, it's good seeing you.
Till next time.
Bye.